welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. We're going to get right on into our session on today. I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. All right, we're going to get right on to our session today. I was reading an article just recently. It's from, it's called Daily Dad. Every dad needs a little help. It's in fine print there, but it's there. Daily Dad, every dad needs help, a little help. All right. What it mentioned is that we're not going to cover all of them, but it mentions 8 ways to be a better husband. 8 ways to be a better husband. Now, when you are in a relationship or when you are married, whether you've been in the marriage for a few years or 1 year or it's going on 10, 15 years, sometimes you need a little help. We need a little help as husbands to become better husbands. It's always good to be a better husband. In this article, it starts out with a saying that I've always said and always tried to live by. It says here, if you have a good marriage, everything else seems perfect. That is so right. You know how they say happy wife, happy life? That's so true. If you cater to your wife's needs, if you always there for her, always have her back, you're going to have a good marriage. Even if you're going through something. See, a lot of people think that you can't have a good marriage unless you have a whole lot of money or you're both rich and stuff. People that are that have a lot of money or wealthy within a wealthy marriage, they have problems or issues on a different level, but they still have problems. And sometimes they have the same problems that people that don't have a lot of money have. You know, they have the same issues, with listening to each other and constant bickering and arguing. It's the same thing. It's just the different types of arguments. Whereas if you don't have enough money, arguments could be about money. If you have money, the arguments could be about spending too much money. So it is always something. So that's a very good statement. I totally agree with that. But if your marriage is struggling, then it doesn't really matter what else is good. A tension-filled home can easily carry over into the rest of your life and sour your demeanor. That is so true. If you just got into it with your wife, sometimes it'll show all on your face, even though you try to cover it up. It's gonna show. So we have to make sure that we are getting along with our spouses. Make sure that we are supporting our spouses, because I'm telling you, all you fellas out there, I'm telling you, whether you realize it or not, we might be the head of the household, but the wife runs the household. I mean, everything should be centered around the wife and the children. And, a lot of times we as men, we tend to forget that because we want to be the head of everything and we want to be in control of everything. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're having a good marriage if you always overbearing, always demeaning your wife, always talking down to her, because the wives do a lot in the household. They wear several different hats. Whereas sometimes us as men, when we come home from work, a lot of times we just find an easy chair and sit down and don't do anything else. Whereas a wife, sometimes she have to help the kids with the homework. She have to make sure the house is clean. And the wives that cook, they always have to make sure dinner is on the table. Whether the husband comes on later or earlier or works overnight, she's still gonna have to make sure dinner is done. And a lot of times she's the main one that goes to the PTA meetings. If the husband's at work, she has to take care of that. Sometimes she's the one that have to make sure the kids get to the bus stop, make sure they have their lunch. In some households, the wives do all the laundry and everything. So we have to make sure that we are supporting our women folk, and a lot of times we tend to forget that the things that they do and the hats that they wear. And this article is right on it. It's called Daily Dad. Every dad needs a little help. It says 8 ways to be a better husband. Let's see what else they have in here. Pick 5 things about your spouse that you're grateful for. You can easily do that. Pick 5 things that you're grateful for within your household and your marriage. Because again, women do so many things in the household, and we have to make sure that we are supporting them. Here's another one here. I like this. When you first met your spouse, the two of you probably wore rose-colored glasses whenever you looked at each other. When you're infatuated, it's easy to overlook the things about someone else we find annoying or difficult. When you're in that dating stage, when you're just getting to know your spouse, a lot of the things you might overlook. For instance, you might overlook the fact that your husband might be a little on the sloppy side or even the lazy side. You might overlook that. And then when, once you get married and after a few years you feel a little comfortable with each other, it's going to come out. You don't do nothing around here, those type of arguments, And you want to avoid those because you want to make sure that we are helping out and pick a chore that one of the chores that your wife do and take it on yourself and make sure that you do that all the time, and that'll alleviate some of the things that she has to do, because women do a lot in the household, especially if you have a virtuous wife. When you have a virtuous wife, she's going to take on, that's why they always say women are like super women, because they do so many things. When the kid is upset or having a bad day, the first person they're going to go to is usually the mom. They're going to go to the mom, whether it's a male child or a female child. They're going to go to the mom for comfort. And discipline. Usually discipline, the mother usually does a lot of the discipline. Sometimes the father will, but you know how we are. Did you ask your mom? And kids will play on each other, on the mother and the father. If they think the father is a pushover, they're going to go to him after mom said no. And if they think the mom's a pushover, they're going to go to her if the dad says no. So we have to make sure that we are supporting our spouses, our wives, because they do so many things at home. Here's something else. Make a list of 5 things you're grateful for regarding your spouse every day. 5 things that you're grateful for. Think of 5 things that you're grateful for that your wife do in the household. I could easily say my wife handles all the finance, because she's in the business. So I let her handle all the. I wouldn't dare try to, because I'm not a numbers person. So I let her handle all that. So you don't want to just be overbearing, and every time you come in the room, she got to be quiet. You telling her what to do. I want my supper right now, And you don't compliment. You have to make sure that we complimenting our wives and buying them roses. You don't have to buy them roses because you're in trouble. You can always tell, and people always think that when they see a man in the store buying flowers for his wife, they he must be in trouble. That's what people are thinking. Or sometimes the cashier they'll make a comment, well, what did you do? And it should be like that. What I decided to at least buy my wife some roses, because she like red. So I decided to buy her red roses at least 2 to 3 times a week, and just because she likes them, just because, And you have to do things like that. Don't always try to do something like that only when you're in trouble, or what they say, when you're in the doghouse. Then you go buy a whole bunch of flowers, and I bought you these flowers. Because a lot of times, instead of buying the flowers, a simple apology would do, over the flowers. Don't just get the flowers just because you're in trouble or said something crazy, because us fellas, we always say something crazy. And sometimes we forget to watch our tones when we're talking to our wives. Even the good husbands or the better husbands we always have that issue, when we're talking, and we might not think that we're yelling, but I guess it's all in our facial expression. We might not think that we're yelling, but we certainly are being yelling, at the wife, and you have to watch our tones when we're talking to our wives, and remember, they are not our children, So you have to watch your tone with your children too. So that goes a long way. That saying goes a long ways. Take on one of your wife or responsibilities. That's a good one. I like that. Take on one of the responsibilities. I just mentioned that. Like if she does all the laundry and all that, take on the laundry. And then when I was working before I retired, I did do the laundry. I always did the laundry, so that way she wouldn't have to worry about doing the laundry. And I always I made it easy, because work smarter, not harder. So what I did is I usually just pick a day and just do all the laundry on that particular day, so I wouldn't be doing it all week long, we let it build up and then just be doing it all week long. So what I did is I picked the day that I would do the laundry and make sure it was done that day. Allowed myself a certain time to start the laundry and have it done by a certain time. So that way it'll be out of the way. Everything will be clean, and the wife didn't have to worry about that. And another thing I did also when back in the day when you put your shirt, you had to wash your shirt. So I would iron my own shirts. I wouldn't expect her, give her the shirt, say, iron this for me. I would iron my own shirts, and until I, start putting everything in the cleaners. But that was a good help for her to take one of those responsibilities off of her. And then, once your children get a little older, give them chores to take off their mom. The mom should never have to take out the trash. You as a husband should be taking out the trash. And once the children get older, especially the male children in the household, make sure that they are the ones taking out the garbage. They're the ones that are cutting the lawn if you have a lawn. My wife never had to go outside and cut the lawn. I always cut the lawn. One time my daughter tried to do it because I had got her riding more, so she wanted to ride the riding more, so she did it that particular time. And that was before she got a car and license and all that. After that, she didn't want to do it anymore. But, I never had them do that. Even my son would cut the grass. But I never had my wife do anything like that. So you would take care of all the outside chores like that, just to help them out, Let me see what else we have on here. Schedule a weekly date. I like that. You try to schedule. It doesn't have to be weekly. It could be monthly, or it could be at a spare of the moment. You could just do it as a surprise, A surprise, I'm taking you out tonight, on a Friday or something. Or, even if you don't take her out, if you want to save money or something, just say, especially you fellas that cook, a lot of men cook pretty well. Prepare dinner a couple nights a week, and that way she, when she come home from work, dinner, if you got home before her, or if that was your off day, have dinner prepared for her, and that's a big relief as well. And make sure your children are helping out around the household. Here they mention put a weekly date on the calendar and stick to it religiously. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, most people, you don't have might not have a physical calendar in your house, but you have an iPad or something. You can put it on the iPad, and if you both share the calendar, she'll see it on there. Oh, he's gonna take me out that day, and if you make it, if you stick to it religiously, like they say on here, it'll be something that she can look forward to. Oh, I don't have to cook that day. He's gonna take me out. You have to make sure that you stick to it though. If you start a schedule like that. And also work on yourself as a. This is another thing that was mentioned on there. I didn't read the details, but I like the title, the heading there. It says work on yourself. Work on yourself as a spouse. Make sure that you're well groomed when you come to bed. Don't come to bed dirty, and don't walk around dirty. And make sure you take care of yourself. And then when you see your wife taking care of herself, when she put on makeup, or when she's just got her hair done or her nails done, or make sure you pay for that to have her hair and nails done to keep herself up, because you don't want to say, oh, you don't look like you did when we first got married. You might not be chipping into, because it gets expensive to get your hair done a lot and your nails. So make sure that you are chipping in and making sure that she's looking good. And whenever she take that extra effort, make sure that you notice it. Don't be a blinded husband. She get a new dress and put it on, and you don't even notice it. And be careful what you say about the dress, and in your wording. For instance, if she put on a dress, just got a new dress, and put it on and said, "Do I look fat in this dress?" You you have to be careful what you say when she asks you that. You don't want to say, "Oh, it fits just like the other ones, don't it?" You just told her that all her clothes is too little. So you have to make sure that you answer that properly with the right, say you want to escalate it into something else. Do I look fat in this dress? Oh, no, you look good in it, you look awesome in it, you look wonderful in it, things like that. You have to word your worrying careful, and make sure that you compliment, whenever because sometimes she'll go out and buy a dress, and you put it on, you won't even notice she got the dress on. And make sure you complimenting her when she get her hair done. Make sure you compliment her. Make sure that we are loving our wives as husbands. Those are some other ways that you can be a better husband, or an awesome husband, or a way to be a better husband in this day and age, because marriages are come and go sometimes, but you don't want to be one of those people that in a marriage today and out the next. You want to make it a lasting relationship. You want to make it, because this is your soulmate, and when it's your soulmate, you want to make sure that you are helping her as a soulmate. Stick by your wife and help her out, around the house, and pick a chore, like they mentioned in the article. Pick a chore that you're going to do and stick with it, and make sure that's one thing that she does not have to worry about. If she don't like going to the grocery store, then you take it on because nowadays you can go to the store without a list and just call back or text and still pick up the things at the store. And while you're in the store, you can call, and because back in the day, when you went to the store and forgot something, you came all the way home. You had to turn around and go back because you had no way of calling to say, "Oh, I forgot to tell you to get this." But nowadays, there's a way that you can call and tell your husband what you forgot them to pick up, and that way they can that'll take that chore off you. You don't have to do the grocery shopping. But if she doesn't mind going to grocery shopping, like I always said, I don't like going to the grocery store, but sometimes I'll go with my wife just to be with her, and that'll be our time together, going to the grocery store. So make sure that we are supporting our wives and sticking with them and loving on them, and make sure that we are complimenting our wives. You can't compliment your wife enough. Just compliment her all the time. Just tell her how gorgeous she is. Even when she wakes up in the morning, just tell her she's beautiful. Even, after, especially after she's had a rough day at work, the kids have been getting on her nerves, give her opportunity to get away, Call a couple of your friends, you might want to, run to the mall with them or something like that to get away. Or you go to the mall with them, like a lot of guys don't like to go to the mall because they're afraid they're going to have to spend some money. But, there's nothing wrong with going to the mall, especially on a cold wintry day. There's nothing else, no movies or anything playing, and go because most malls have attached to them a lot of nice places where you can have dinner. So just go to the mall, walk around the mall, and you might see something, you might outfit or something you want to see her in that you can buy, and and have dinner together. And it's a lot of easy ways you can spend time, and wonderful ways you can spend time with your spouse. Compliment her all the time, and and let her look forward to being with you, or let her look forward to you getting something or doing something nice for her. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off. Again, there are several ways that you can be a better husband. This is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off until we meet again with Let's Talk Marriage. Now remember, all the music that you hear on this program is from an app called Whoop Triggers Plus. It's a wonderful app that if you have a church that don't have musicians, or if you have a church that musicians are not there all the time, you can use the app. It could back the preacher. There's praise and worship songs on here. There's even charismatic music on here, where you can listen to shouting and praise music. It's a wonderful app, so check it out. This is Pastor Larry signing off until we meet again with Let's Talk Marriage. God bless you.